Hey, horror fans. In case you didn't hear the news, the time we're recording this around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. By the time I post this on YouTube and VidMe. You might have already heard the news that director George Romero has passed away. He was 77 years old. For anyone not familiar with George Romero, shame on you, but I'll give you a little rundown on what he's done. Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, Survival of the Dead? Yeah, I think that was one. Creep Show. A lot of fans love Creep Show if they're not big fans of the zombie films that he did. I got to meet Romero at Rock and Shock, which is a horror convention in Worcester, Massachusetts, back in 2010. I was there with my friend Stacy, and I got him to sign my copy of Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead. He was a very nice man. I got to sit on a panel doing a Q&A with him at another convention that I was at, which is no longer around, but it was really a lot of fun to be able to meet Romero. Romero had this unique way of making a movie about the times that we were living in, but putting zombies into it. Night of the Living Dead, a lot of people don't realize, was about the Vietnam War. Dawn of the Dead was about how we had basically become zombies with consumer products and going to the mall, and that's where he kind of got the idea, having gone to the mall once, and decided to make the Dawn of the Dead based on that. Land of the Dead was the same thing. Day of the Dead was very much a product of the 80s, in the Reagan era that it was made in. Diary of the Dead, I think everyone was doing found footage movies, so that's why he kind of did that. That one's not usually as popular, but of the last few films that he did, I would say it would be Land of the Dead. A lot of people don't know is that he was once going to direct a Resident Evil movie. In fact, if you bought a copy of Resident Evil 2, the video game for the original PlayStation, there was a contest you could win to be in the Resident Evil movie directed by George Romero. Now, if you go on to Variety's website, you can actually learn a little bit about what happened to his Resident Evil movie, and you can even read his Resident Evil script, which is kind of cool. There was a Resident Evil 2 commercial made in Japan that Romero actually directed, which was pretty cool. In the documentary Birth of the Living Dead, it chronicled the cultural impact of Night of the Living Dead and believes that the hiring of Romero at the time by Sony Pictures would have made great box office sense. And unlike the Paul W.S. Anderson film, he wrote the first draft in 6 weeks, set primarily in the game's eerie Spencer mansion. The script focused on the two main characters of the game, Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine, not Mila Jovovich's Alice's stupid clone character. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the last Resident Evil movie. But that is a project that a lot of fans have always continued talking about to this day because of what would have happened if he had been allowed to direct it. I highly recommend checking out Just Desserts. It's the story of the making of Creep Show. And I think a lot of people would get a lot of information about Romero from that, in terms of like one of the best anthology horror movies ever made. Thanks, everybody. Check out the rest of our videos here on the Radio Horror YouTube page as well as on my VidMe page. And if you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be great as well. Rest in peace, George Romero.